Okay, I'm addressing this because it's something that's come to my attention over the last couple of months. I've realized that a lot of people have a weird ass hard on for keeping other people down for some reason. I've heard a lot of ignorant arguments and statements on people being afraid of the direction that we're heading, and that's why they support people that seem to be going the opposite fucking direction. It's just very, very strange to me because, in my opinion, that's called fucking growth. You know? Like you do something a certain way until you know better and you have more information. And once you know better, you then do better, right? That's how people grow and evolve and get better as a society and better as people. Gay rights, civil rights, women's rights, all of these things were not status quo at some point. They were all questioned, they were all fought back upon. There was a lot of people that wanted to stay in those spaces just because that was the status quo at the time. That's how we had always done it. And they were afraid to move forward. But you see, if we would have stayed in those spaces, we would not be where we are at right now. And the world would be worse for it. I genuinely feel like the people making the most amount of noise against things like trans rights right now or binary, not wanting to let them in certain spaces, not wanting to work with them in the same companies, not wanting to call them by the name that they prefer just because they feel like it's going to validate their mental illness. I genuinely feel like those people are the same people that would have not respected working beside Black people when slavery was overturned, are the same people that would have not wanted women to have the right to vote, are the same people that would have wanted gay people to be arrested for being out in public. So I'm going to keep saying this until I'm blue in the motherfucking face. Equal rights for others does not mean less rights for you. And I don't know why some of you feel like this. You're living in this very strange scarcity mindset situation. Like there's only so much pie and I want it all, and these other people are stealing my pie. But it doesn't work like that. Equal rights for others does not mean less rights for you. And I need you guys to really start taking that in and comprehending that. 105 years ago, women couldn't vote. And even when they first were allowed to vote, it was only white women. Everyone else, every other color of women, had to wait another 45 years to be able to vote. And just in the 1990s were women with disabilities allowed to vote. That's only 35 years ago. 95 years ago, women couldn't work. 55 years ago, women couldn't work certain jobs. 56 years ago, being gay was completely illegal. I'm not talking about gay marriage here. I'm talking about even being gay. Being gay and out in person would have gotten you arrested. And most people thought it was a mental illness. And only a mere 10 years ago, gay marriage was illegal. So I want you guys to really think if we were to have stayed in those eras, just because that's how we've always done it, and not progressed into the future and given people their rights, we would have been living in a very, very different world right now. And some of you may have preferred that world, but you guys are terrible people if you feel like that. So I want you guys to really think about this when you're in that weird scarcity mindset, thinking that if I give other people their rights just to live their human experience in a safe way, that means less for me. That is not accurate. That is untrue. Fake news. Be kind to others. It is important for a civilization to progress. And when you have better information and you know better, you do better. Do not be afraid of something you don't know or something you can't really wrap your head around. It is vital in these days to think about the past when we start being afraid of moving into the future. Because if we were to have stayed in those spaces, think about where any of you would have been today.